Words of Sri Aurobindo from the book The Mother, from the collective works of Sri Aurobindo, volume 32, page 223. Topic: The Mother's Force. Subtopic: The Mother's Force and the Forces of the Lower Nature. Question: There is in me a revolt of the vital against the light, resulting in much vital confusion. I hope that one day all my desires and ambition will go away and I will depend completely on the Mother. In the meantime, as these things too come from the Mother, there is nothing to do but wait. For the Sri Aurobindo says, what things? The vital confusions and the desires? It is entirely false to say that these things come from the Mother. They come from the lower nature and its darkness and ignorance. The Mother's force is not the lower nature, it is the power of the divine truth and light working upon the lower nature to drive out the confusion and falsehood and desire from it and to transform everything into the truth and light. It is equally false to say, so there is nothing to do but wait. There is something to do, and I have repeatedly told you what it is. I have told you not to go down into the low vital unless you can go there with the Mother's force and light supporting you. If you are pushed or fall into the lower vital confusion, then to remain quiet, not discussing or consenting to whirl round in the lower vital chaos, to reject the vital suggestions and experiences and open yourself calling down the Mother's force to change this part of the being. Instead of that, you begin experiencing the chaos and trying to follow every jump and whirl in it and speculating about it, with the result that you get falsehoods like these too. The falsehood that these things too come from the Mother, and the falsehood that there is nothing to do but wait, and you consent to them. When will you learn to remember and follow the plain instructions I have given you, instead of believing in the ignorant mind and the confused suggestions of this vital chaos? 10th June 1930. Next question. I am practicing with the feeling that the Mother is in everything. When I make a mistake, I think this is also the Mother has done through me to bring me to full consciousness. I believe that the sadhaks cannot consciously commit mistakes. For the Sri Aurobindo says, the Mother does not make people commit mistakes. It is the Prakriti that makes them do that. If the Purusha does not refuse his consent, the Mother here is not this lower Prakriti but the Divine Shakti, and it is her work to press on this lower nature to change. You can say that under the pressure the Prakriti stumbles and is unable to reply perfectly and makes mistakes. But it is not the Mother who makes you do wrong moments or the wrong moments in you if you think that you are in danger of justifying these moments or their continuance. 11th April 1933. Next question. What is the truest and surest means to recognize the Mother's force when it acts, or to distinguish from it from other egoistic or ignorant forces? Sri Aurobindo says, one has to be perfectly sincere. One has to be perfectly sincere not to justify one's own desires and faults by the mind's reasonings, to look impartially and quietly at oneself and one's moments, and to call on the Mother's light, and then gradually one will begin to discern everything in that light. Even if it cannot be done perfectly at once, the judgment and the feeling will get clearer and surer, and a right consciousness of these things will be established. Next question. If a sadhak cannot fully discriminate between the Mother's force and the egoistic and ignorant forces, and cannot reject the lower forces, what will be his condition, and what is the best step for him to take on the path of the yoga? For the Sri Aurobindo says, all these questions are met by my answer. One cannot be perfect in discrimination at once or in rejections either. The one indispensable thing is to go on trying sincerely till there comes the full success. So long as there is completely sincerity, the divine grace will be there and assist at every moment on the way. 1st July 1933. Sri Aurobindo says there are two cosmic forces. One, the higher cosmic Shakti, which is a form of the mother, and the power is the other, the power of the ignorance is the other force. You have not to open to the later, only to the mother. That means you should not open yourself to the power of ignorance, but open to the Divine Mother. 25th October 1933. Next question. I told you that when I make some mistake, then the lower forces rise up to trouble me. But you replied it is not necessarily due to some mistake or a fault that they may rise. But my experience is that so long as the mother's name is on my lips, nothing undivine can touch me. It is only when I am careless and forget to say her name that mistakes occur. For the Sri Aurobindo says, but what does the carelessness come from? It is because the habit of the lower nature makes you forget. That is an action of the lower force. It is not only by the higher force meeting the lower force and its pressures on them, this is contact, that the habit of forgetfulness disappears. 25th Jan 1935. Next question. How is it that the mother cannot or will not move the hostile forces to action, since the Asura and the Rakshasa and Pisacha are her children? For the Sri Aurobindo says, as for the Asuric forces, their movement is a part of the ordinary cosmic movement in the ignorance. But Mother is not here to encourage that movement, but to bring down the higher truth in which they have no place. If then she moves the hostile forces to act against her and her work and the sadhaks, which they have quite ready enough to do of themselves, it would mean that she is working against herself and trying to frustrate her own purpose in being here. Such an action would be absurd in the extreme. 8th April 1935. Next subtopic, the mother's force and the three gunas. Question. When one feels that it is the mother's force that acts through one and not one's own force, is it the mother's force alone that works in one's actions while the gunas remain quiescent? For the Sri Aurobindo says, no, the gunas are there and not quiescent, for they are the instrumentation. If the force and the inner consciousness are very strong, then there is a tendency for the rajas to become like some inferior form of tapas and the tamas to become more like the kind of inert shama. That is how the transformation begins, but usually it is very slow in its process. Next subtopic, conditions for the working of the mother's force. Sri Aurobindo says, when you can receive the mother's peace in the mind and heart, it will act on the vital also and calm it. Once the vital is calm, then force can be there in it and give it strength. There is no intention of test or ordeal, but for the mother's force to act, certain conditions are necessary. There must be a certain acceptance, a will, steady and persistent to reject what comes in the way of her action and to receive her force alone. But why should you be always thinking about others? You have little to do with others. It is no use of thinking only of the past as well. Leave them to the mother to deal with and forget all that. Sri Aurobindo says, if ego sense comes back upon you so strongly, it must be because something in you admits it. The mother's force is there always and can help you to get rid of all these things. But you on your part must have faith and sincerity to accept the mother. Put yourself entirely on her side so as to make it possible for the force to work with effect. When bad thoughts come, you must reject them, not assent to them in your mind, not give voice to them in your speech, not believe in them or their suggestions. These things cannot vanish in a day, but if you do like that, they will diminish and lose their power to stay strong hold of you and disturb you, and in the end they will disappear. 21st April 1932, these are the words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo.
I hope I shall be allowed to adopt a double nationality. That is to say, to remain French while I become an Indian. I am French by birth and early education. I am Indian by choice and predilection. In my consciousness, there is no antagonism between the two. On the contrary, they combine very well and complete one another. I know also that I can be of service to both equally, for my only aim in life is to give a concrete form to Sri Aurobindo's great teaching. And in his teaching, he reveals that all the nations are essentially one and meant to express the divine unity upon earth through an organized and harmonious diversity.